Hello, hello. How are you? Good. How was the lunch? It was good? Yeah? Excellent. So thanks for being here. Welcome. My name is Leonardo Morales. And today with my colleague Milena Pisarski, we will try to lead this special process about the session that we will have today. And so just very interesting reminding that we are live streamed already. So probably some of you, maybe myself and Milena, will become famous in the world, at least in the Scout world. So it is important just to remind that the camera is over there, okay? So we will try to interact in this space over here for try to be online all the time, because we have people that already signed up for watch this session, okay? So before to start, I would like just to ask very quick that each of you say your name and the country that you're representing and the position that you are having with Scouting, okay? So let's use this microphone to... Thank you. Okay?
I'm a Effendi from the Singapore Scout Association. I'm the full-time person taking care of the full-time staff in Singapore.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sunny from Taiwan. I'm a junior high school teacher. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Derek. I am chairman of the Eric Frank Trust, which is putting a small amount of money into this Congress, and I sleep occasionally in London.
Thank you. Very welcome.
Mabuhay, I am Ariel Tamayo, Boy Scout Commissioner, Ateneo de Manila University, Manila, Philippines.
Thank you.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Valentina Ursu et je suis membre du comité régional Eurasie.
Welcome.
I'm Nargis Balakisheva from Azerbaijan, Assistant International Commissioner.
Good.
Hi everybody, my name is Mario Lagos from Honduras, Central America, and Adult Resource Director.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julio Escoto, to Dominican Republic. I'm working adult.
Hello, I'm Chen Wing Cheng, a member of Hong Kong delegation.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ildemaro Trias from Venezuela, Association Scout of Venezuela, South America. My role is adult formations.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Janice Bates. I'm from Australia, and my position is on the National Youth Program team.
Excellent.
Hello, I'm Pernille. I'm from Denmark, and I'm in the program committee.
Hello, my name is Birgitte. I'm from Denmark as well, and I'm also a member of the Danish program committee.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Louis. I come from Macau. Yes, I'm a program in charge.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ramon from Mexico. I am the Education Methods Director.
My name is Paul from Hong Kong, and I'm a scout leader in Hong Kong, leading a scout troop.
My name is Stella Fong, coming from Hong Kong. My position is the Deputy Regional Commissioner. I'm responsible for leader training and development. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have three very important supporters for this session, so I would like that you introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Leonardo. Thank you. Hello. I am Tarek Hajouj. I'm the International Commissioner of Algerian Muslim Scouts, and I'm a reporter of this session.
Hello, I'm Josephine. I'm from Hong Kong Scout Association, and I'm a headquarters scouter.
Hello, my name is Rico. Founding with Kowloon Group. I am a scout leader.
Okay, and these three persons are very important for this session because they are going to try to take all the ideas and all the comments that you are going to do, and also if someone from online have some question or something to add, so we will try to introduce and talk in over here. Okay? So here we are. I think we have new participants. Could you just present your name very quick and your association and what are you doing normally in scouting? Where is your position, basically?
Yes, hello, my name is Thomas Frostberg. I'm the International Commissioner for Guides and Scouts of Sweden.
Välkommen. Varsågod.
Okay. My name is Sukarti from Indonesia.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Okay, so in this session, we are going to try to just give some kind of perspective about what values are, what personal values are, that at the end will try to provide us some basic idea and how we can recognize some of the values that could be useful for our youth in the future. And try to differentiate the differentiation between the ideal and the real. Okay? So the idea is that we try to be very participating and try to be very active. And at the end, try to put all your experiences or your knowledge you have about it. Okay? So, as we mentioned it, our reporters will try to get all the comments that you are going to do. We are going to work together. And the idea, and the most important thing is like we try to have fun. Okay? That's the most important thing. So, this is the objectives that basically what we have for today. And we expect to finish in like a 1.5 hour. Okay? So, I would like to ask you, could you give me the microphone, please? I have a question for Stella. Stella, tell me, what is real for you?
Why? What?
What is real for you? Real. Real in your life. What is real for you? Okay, let's say that you have the microphone in your hand right now.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I understand what you mean there.
Okay.
I can talking, I can listening, I can
Okay.
listen.
Okay.
And I can eat.
Okay.
And I can talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah, that is what I think is real.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. I think it's very basic, very simple. And let's see, Chen, I have another question for you. What is unreal for you? Unreal.
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 I cannot see it. I cannot feel it. Or I cannot touch it. For example.
Okay. Are you agree with him? Yes? Okay. So I will consider that the silence is a yes. And so we have like a very simple definition about what is real versus what is unreal. The perception sometimes is not the reality. It's just because something is perceived through the senses and mind. Okay? So does not mean it is real. This generally exists. In the Maya world vision, they think that is believing the real consciousness to be unreal, and the unreal were apparent to be real. It sometimes depends on the perception. Like a very long time ago, like a year ago probably, we were thinking that this Congress is something unreal. That is something that was start to be a part of the process, but now it's real now. So I can see all of you over here, and we can, be part of this process. And we have also some kind of definitions about what are the values. If you reach like an internet, you can find more than 10,000 definitions or perceptions from the people what are the values. At the end, we try to appoint some very basic examples about it that will be helpful for us at the end to try to have some kind of starting point for the job that we need to do it later. Okay? So in this first definition, it's saying like values are principles, standards and qualities that an individual or group of people hold in high regard. There's people that is very commitment about it. There is another people that probably they didn't think about what the values are. These values guide the way we live our lives and the decisions we make. Cultures sometimes has a different kind of definitions of values, but at the end they have their own definitions according to their cultures. A value might be defined as something that we hold dear, those things, qualities which we consider to be of worth. A value is a conformity formed by a particular belief that is related to the worth an idea or type of behavior. Sometimes, in very small example, if you are going to the washrooms or the bathroom for women or men, what happens if you go to the woman, if I am a man? So people will think, oh, what happened with this guy? Probably at that time, we can define or we can have very discussion if that there is a value, but it's something that is understanding for all the people at that moment, okay? Some people may see great value in saving the world's rainforest. And for other people, probably this is not about. This is something that someone needs to do because I'm not living in the forest, I'm living in the city. So this is a perception, once again. However, a person who relies on the lodging of a forest for the job maybe not place the same value on the forest as a person who wants to save it. This is another definition, separately from the other, that I already talked, is values can influence many of the judgments we make as well as we have an impact on the support we give clients. This is something more related about business services. It is important that we do not influence clients' decisions based on our values. We should always work from the basis of supporting the client's values. How many of you have changed your cell phone in the last 3 years? Who changed 3 times? Or buy a new one? 2 times? 1 time? Okay. So if we talk about values in this kind of perception, so let's just think about our cell phones. So I think when the iPhone just shows up in the world, no one's imagined that we will have now we have like a iPhone 5S, isn't it? So the people is dying for the new version of that. This is a value for the people in terms of business. This is another definition that say like important and lasting beliefs or ideals shared by the members of a culture about what is good or bad and desirable or undesirable. This is something about perceptions and how the people lives in different parts of the world. Values have major influence on a person's behaviors and attitude and serves a broad guidelines in all situations. Some common business values are fairness, innovation, and community involvement. And I just want to make like a small example about sometimes some kind of attitudes could be considered a value. And in other cultures, maybe it's something more flexible, and it's not a value, it's just part of the life. I'm coming from Latin America. And sometimes when people from Europe goes to have vacation in Latin America, they start to think and say about, or talk about the Latino time. If we will have a meeting at 3 p.m., we are kind of relaxing. We don't have snow. which means if I'm late, so I can just wait for another bus to go to my meeting. And at the end, so probably some of the people arrives like at 3:10, 3:15, something like that, and they shows up like a very comfortable, and they just say, probably the meeting already started, and they just say, hello, how are you? I'm here. And all the people is like, okay, welcome. But I know that in some parts or some countries in Europe, if you do that, this is very unrespectful. And there is another culture that the value of the time has a very important value. It's the life of one person that is trying to be in presence with someone or with a person that just want to have a meeting. So it's the life of someone. Just imagine that. It's not just a meeting. So this is a very simple example in the life that how the cultures and the people can interpret the values. This one is core values are the fundamental beliefs of a person. The core values are the guiding principles that dictate behavior and action. Core values can help people to know what is right from wrong, and they create an unwavering and unchanging guide. I think we talked already about it. And this one, it's one of the definitions that will be very useful for us in this moment, because it's showing that how the values are important for the kids and the youth during their development. From once the kids born until the 7 years, we had the imprint period. So it's like a stamp. So they will try to do exactly what daddy do if there is a male, or on the other way around. So that's why there is a lot of theories saying like from that period is when you put your personal mark when you are a father or you are a mother. Because they will try to do exactly as their parents are doing. So you became some kind of role model. From the 8 to 13 is a modeling period. This is a very important part for the development of the youth. And also in this process, so they are trying to get, or they're trying to be accepted in the society. And that's why we said that, oh, I don't know what to do with this teenager. It's making me crazy. Because at that age, they are just trying to find their path. They are trying to find heroes. They are trying to find someone that really represents a model for them. Someone they feel proud. I remember when I was 13, I was just trying to use like a very straight pants, you know. I don't remember the name in English, but in Spanish, we call like the ácido wash. It was like a very interesting. And when I saw that pictures, I feel very ashamed of me. And I say, what I was thinking at that time. So I was trying to identify how I want to be in the future. So we have the socialization period is for the 13 and 21. Is when we expect that according to their experiences, they already have the opportunity to start to be part of the process, be more active. And also in this part, even in the other one, it's still like they're trying to find people, to try to be people, try to find role model people. And if we are a leader scout, just keep in mind all this process and how we can improve their dreams, we can improve their future in terms about the confidence they are putting in us as a leader scouts, and also how we can help them and try to be a role model for them. It is very important, and we are educating the youth for the life. We are having fun, but we are educating the youth. So this is very, very important we keep in mind. This is some kind of examples of personal values that has been already determined by some kind of theories. We have leadership, justice, commitment, compassion, cooperation, prudence, teamwork, tolerance, unity, vision, vitality. There is 1,000 of definitions of personal values that could be useful for us and what we can consider for our development, even as a process, as adults. Probably when we were like 13 years old, we would like to wear this very nice pants. And this is what the value for us, because we will be accepted. And probably once we start to develop our careers, we would like to have more knowledge and have the opportunity to try to talk with people about what I studied at the university. And so I would like to, in somehow, try to be accepted as well. But I need the knowledge. So probably the knowledge will be the most important value at that moment. So it's just a small reflection about that. We are in the same path, we are in the same boat, but we represent our values in different perspectives according to our development and according how we has been grow up as a person and how our culture also has been teaching us and how our parents has been leading us and educate us during the whole life. In terms of scouting, yes. In terms of scouting, we based our values in our scout promise. This is the scout promise that is recognized but wasn't, okay? So, on my honor, I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and the King, or to God of my country, to help other people at all the times and to obey the scout law. What that means, if I take out my scarf and my t-shirt and I will wear like a One Direction group, you know, this teenagers group like is already very famous, One Direction, still, I'm still being a scout. Because I've been trying to do my best, duty with God, help other all the times, and to obey the scout law. This is my value. And that's why we would like to have more youth in our movement. Scout is honored to be trusted. Is loyal, help others, is friendly. I don't know how many of you has experiment when you are in the international activity or even in like a local camp, when you are just walking with your unit and suddenly another unit is coming in front of you. Sometimes it's like, oh, there's another scouts coming through, you know. Scouting, this is scouting, is this real scout friendly? Or sometimes, when you have a lot of experience in scouting, probably working with adults, when you see someone that probably is younger, it's a young adult that's just starting the process in that, it's like, who are you? Oh, I'm Leonardo Morales. I'm in my training session for being a scout leader. Oh, that's just so good. You know, I will be your trainer. Just imagine to this Leonardo Morales, it's like, oh my God, what I'm doing here. So it's a good example to be friendly? I don't think so. Friend to the animals also. Obey orders of his patrol leader, scoutmaster. The scout smiles and whistles under all difficulties. You think so? Are you agree with that? Sometimes, I think we forget that when we are in like local national assemblies, in our NSOs, when we are so passionate to discuss and share ideas and try to say, no, I'm not agree, according to the Constitution, according to the guidelines from the organization, you are wrong. Are we really scouts to try to have the opportunity to talk as a brotherhood? We are a brotherhood. We need to keep in mind that. We are not a special people, but we are a special people. Because we are trying to live with the umbrella that we are trying to be better every day of our lives. And we are trying to do our best for us, for my community, and with my family, and etc. It's clean in thought, word, deed. This is very special. I think in somehow we can connect that also with the spirit of the people, the soul of the people. If we are happy, I think we probably will express all these things once we are showing the people that we are happy to live, we feel happy that we are in this world, and we can be happy to the other persons. So it's very interesting that we are very proud to say we are a scout, but sometimes we forget to smile. You know, sometimes you are very tired, and I don't know, I'm just going to Mr. Cheng and say, hey, how are you? Good. You see, he's very happy now. So it's part of the process. So we are role model. We need to encourage the people and show that we have responsibility as leaders for trying to help them to accomplish their dreams. You never know. It's like I have a very interesting example. The president of Ecuador, Mr. Correa, he was a scout. He was participating in one regional conference a long time ago, like almost 40. And he was one of the people that was helping to the participants to guide and to go to some of the sessions. And there is some pictures of him, and now he's the president of Ecuador. And now this person is the president, and now he's supporting the scouting a lot, and they are going to construct a huge campsite with many possibilities, not only for scouts. It's open to all the youth from the nation. It's real. Probably when this president was in scouting, was unreal for him or for their friends or their families that sometimes this person will be who will lead in their nation. Now he's doing, right now, is real. Okay? So, I will pass the microphone to my dear friend, Milena Pisarski. So, please, they're all yours.
I hope this works. Yeah. Okay. So now with the Scout law and promise in your hands, our idea is to give you some food for thought, because later during the session we will actually ask you to answer a couple of important questions. Maybe the overall question being, where exactly are we going with the values in Scouting? Are we promoting what is relevant for 21st century, and how are the values we are teaching young people and children affecting their lives in today's world? As Leonardo was describing the different phases of development. So now I would just like to take you to the, fortunately for us, we had some young people answering some of the questions for you today, coming from 3 different continents and 3 different years. So I will very briefly present you what we got as a response from young people in 2011 in Brazil, in 2012 in Romania, and with a survey which we prepared for this session and for you. So so 2013 and Hong Kong. So we first should go to Brazil and get, but yeah, maybe slide is not here. Okay, I will just try to present it in my own words. Basically, what we did in 2011 in Brazil with 200 young people, and the similar exercise was repeated year after that in Romania with 40 young people. They were all aged from 22 until, let's say, 30. And the main question we asked them was, the process lasted for 3.5 hours maybe. We asked them to reflect on what are their personal values, which they really strongly feel about, and which part of that is coming from their scouting background. So what have we basically done to make that person a better person? But also, more importantly, what do they feel they lack today, and what are the areas where we can improve? And their answers in 2011 for me came as a huge surprise, because on the top of the ladder was stress management, coming as a response from young people aged 18 to 26. And then after that, it was decision making. And then after that, we had communication in different cultural settings. After that, we had using social media. So one would think, okay, we have these young people now, and they're all great communicators. They know how to cope with their lives, which unfortunately, according to them, was not the case. So they felt like they really needed empowerment in terms of these areas. Another huge pile of work where we still need to do some work was a big set of competencies related to self-management. So people were saying like, no, I never pause to reflect and to think about my life. I never do self-assessment, and so I do not really think about what my experiences have taught me. So, and that creates some sort of frustration later in life and so on. So those would be the answers which somehow repeated from one continent to another. So I would think that it was not just a coincidence. Here for the for World Scout Education Congress, what we did was we asked young people all over the globe. We distributed the survey through all 6 regional offices and asked for responses. But we didn't ask for any kind of responses. So we asked the regional directors to identify young people who have been in the movement long enough so they can actually reflect on their personal development through the movement. So they can actually say, okay, I am aware what I've picked up from scouting, but also who are a bit of a critical thinkers and can actually tell us what they think. And we got the responses from all around the globe. A full report with the responses is already online on our session page, but I would like to highlight some of the responses now. As I said, I think it would be very good food for your brains for the discussion later. Okay, first question we asked them was, is the Scout movement helping you to create tolerance and respect for other societies? And my instant thought was yes. Their instant answer was yes. But while they were describing what tolerance and respect means, that was not on the level which we expected to be. It was, I forgot to say, the target group was young people from 22 until 29, let's say. So they were saying things like, yeah, we meet people from different cultures. I know that different cultures exist. I know that there are different religious traditions, stuff like that. One answer that would illustrate that is being a scout may be even curious about other societies. So if I would allow myself to interpret it, that is not on the level of creating tolerance and respect of other societies, but is at the level of, yes, I'm aware there are so many nations, so many different people who are living their lives in a different manner. Do I tolerate? I'm not sure. Do I respect them? I am also not sure. This is what we got as a response. Second question was, do you think that scouts are scouts only when they wear uniforms, or you truly believe that they're role models in the normal life? Of course, uniforms mean different things to each NSO, I think, has its own interpretation of the value of the uniform. However, responses we got were more or less in the line, yes, scouts are scouts with or without uniform, and they should be themselves with or without uniform. However, all of the participants mentioned that we tend to, well, this is the response we got, that we become more conscious of ourselves, and we might start to behave more stereotypically while we are wearing a uniform. Some of the responses were also in line, people tend to engage more once they put their uniform on. So on one side, no, uniform is not changing, it's not turning the scout mode on, but on the other side, it does something. We are not really sure what it does, but it does something to a person. Do you think that being a good citizen and trying to create a better world, it's only a dream, or it's something you feel strongly in your normal life? And for us, it was very important to see if young people throughout the globe feel creating a better world as a part of their personal values. And the answers were, firstly, they linked very much creating a better world with respecting Scout values. So it was as it is the same. So if I obey the Scout law, I am therefore creating a better world. A second observation is that they all came from the personal perspective. Only one participant mentioned by doing a service to the community, we are creating a better world. The rest of them said, by being a better person through my personal development, I am creating a better world. And the third thing which was interesting is that they all reflected on the small actions which they do in everyday lives. Yeah, so I mentioned this. So if we all live by the law and the promise, then we will make the world a better place. Fourth question out of 8. So I'm sorry for the amount of text on the PowerPoint. I hope it helps you get the picture of the results. What are the values you developed through the Scout movement? I will list them in the order of frequency. So everybody mentioned more often the teamwork, responsibility towards others. I've learned to respect deadlines. I've learned to respect meetings and so on. Confidence and courage. In a sense, I was shy, now I'm not. I learned to speak up, and now I dare more. And the third big part was around the spiritual development. So I'm more happy being a Scout. I have fun being a Scout. I'm more patient. And so stuff like that. Fifth question was, how do you see common values in the world where we have 40 million people? So basically, do you think it's possible that 40 million individuals share the same values? I don't know what would your response be. Their response was, yes, we believe it's possible. However, when they were listing the values, they were coming from completely different backgrounds, which means we got responses, for example, responses from Europe were more in line, yes, we all share the same values, for example, non-formal education. Responses from Inter-America were, yes, we all share the same values, for example, love towards nature. So participants had a sense that everybody has the same values, but when they were listing them, they were actually putting different priorities, which we also thought was interesting to mention. So what they all had in common were friendship, service, care about the others, fun, education, and love for the nature. These are the values that people feel are strongly shared around the globe. Not all of the values from the Scout law are listed here. Maybe there is a reason for that. I don't know. You will tell us later. Next, we wanted to ask them how they feel about the adult behaviors. In a sense, do they pick up the mission and the vision from the adults in their surrounding, or do they have the mission and vision in their heads? In one sense, are you looking at the adult leaders when you're thinking about behavior and values in Scouting, Or do you have in front of you the mission of creating a better world, and that's for you? Responses we got, and I will quote here so I don't interpret. When I feel disappointed by adult leader behavior, at sometimes the adult leader behavior and the mission collide. Some adults' behavior discourage us to take initiatives. So almost all of the answers were in line of they would rather or they would rather follow the mission statement and the vision statement instead of actually the adults. And I think this is a very important point to have somewhere in our heads, to see how adult leaders are actually perceived. One response illustrates this very nicely, and it's very particular, so I would like to read it out loud. In my country, scouting is part of school curricula. Therefore, many schools force teachers to go to scout leader training. Most of the adults are misunderstanding about scout and a soldier. They think that the leaders are commanders and that scouts have to obey the leaders. If the leaders still behave like a commander, how can people believe that scouting is the movement for young people? And I think this was a very frank response coming from a female young person who is faced with this type of, and please don't forget that these are not random young people. These are the key volunteers in the regions. Okay, number 7, so we have 2 more. Which are 3 most important values you developed through the Scout movement? Again, it's a similar pattern. Teamwork, friendship, respect for others. On the second place, it's things around loyalty, service to the community, courage, and then at the end, this type of spiritual development like happiness, joy, patience, and stuff like that. And the last question was, do you find any value you developed through the scouting to be different from the values in your country or in your society? And so do you think that that provokes a negative reaction or makes you feel unrespected? In other terms, is scouting teaching you or passing on some values which are different than the values in the society you live? Many of the answers were no, scouting is completely in line with the society where I am. However, some of the answers were no, were yes. Values in scouting are different from the values in culture. And we have 2 types of those. One are more in line, scouts are sometimes too traditional or too national or nationalistic or too conservative or have so strong ties with religious institutions. And in my society, that is something which is not perceived as a good thing. Other part of responses came from another angle, saying basically confidence to speak up. So scouting is teaching me to speak up. However, my culture doesn't respect or doesn't value a female who would stand up and speak up. And therefore, that is making many people shut me off from the conversation once we start talking, and I feel very uncomfortable. So that would be basically reality or what we got as a piece of reality from all around the globe, what young people think about our values today. I don't know if this has helped you feed your thoughts for the discussion later, but if you have any questions related to this or related to the mentioned Brazil and Europe surveys, please ask them. And you can also find the full responses online there on the session page. Do you have any questions at this point? Yeah? No. Yeah. Yeah. What was the response rate from? We asked for 2 representatives from each region. Yeah. So we got a little less than 12 responses because not all of them responded. That was for this survey. Is that the one? Yeah.
So in other words, it's not truly representative.
this feedback that you get the results. You send out the questionnaire. It's online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The questionnaire
Yeah.
and the results are
But
online.
do you know how many people responded eventually?
I think we got 11 responses out of 12. So we asked for, we were aiming for 12 responses. So we didn't want to engage everybody. That was not the, we wanted to target people who were in the scouting for a long time, who were working or have knowledge of the things in their region, and that can provide us feedback. It would be good maybe to share it and get all of the responses or more responses. Any other questions? No. Okay, then we move to the next part. Yeah, we have one question. We understand that the microphone is not the most comfortable way, but for our online viewers, that's the only way they can hear us.
How many domains of development? At Indonesian, 5 domain development: spiritual development, intellectual development, emotional development, social development, and physical development. How many it is?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
How much domain be development in the courts?
I again didn't understand, didn't pick up the question. So, are you asking how are the areas of development?
I have 5 area development.
Yeah.
And one is first is spiritual.
Yeah.
And 2 is second is intellectual, and 3 is emotional, and 4 is social, and 5 is physical.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the question?
How much area of development in the schools?
I would say, based on my knowledge, most of the associations would follow the similar pattern, or maybe add the 6th area, which is a social dimension of development or character development. So it's either 5 or 6, as far as I know.
5.
Yeah. Okay. To the bus group. Okay. So now we would like to divide you into bus groups for a bus discussion. Okay. Just and we will use the most creative way of division of people ever. It's called 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can start. So you say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you belong to group 1, 2, 3, or 4, according to the number. So would you like to start from this 1? One, yeah. Are you together? Okay, so this was not just a counting exercise, so you should actually remember the numbers, because, okay.
Yes, just before the start exercise, we would like to present a very interesting video that is just like a 3 hours video, so get comfortable. We will bring the popcorn soon. And so just talking about role model, values, and how we can be examples for our youth. Just think about it and all the things that we are discussing until now, okay? It's just 2 minutes and a half, so don't worry. Let's see what happened. Oops. What is it? Okay, the unreal becomes real. You know, you are supposed to have blood, but so it gives things like, oh, this is real. And for Donald, was unreal that their unit will take care of it. So that's the final reflection.
Okay. So we hope. Do you remember your numbers now? Okay. We'd like you to now divide into bus groups and have 4 different locations and answer these 3 questions. You don't need to write them down because they'll remain on the board. So question number 1 is, to which extent you think Scout values are relevant for the 21st century? So now we talked about the law and promise. We also got a reflection from young people around the world. We got theoretical input. We saw a cartoon. So we think that your brains so far have some conclusions or some thoughts, or are open-minded and ready to hear and to develop. So to which extent do you think Scout values are relevant for 21st century? Scout values taken in the sense of a law and a promise on the cards, which we just gave you. The second one is how the adults can improve the process of value development and education. Do we all understand questions? And the third one is, what are the 3 values you think Scouting should embrace more in the future in its educational programs? So these 3 values don't have to be something that is already written as a Scout law or something that is already in the promise. Okay? So basically what we want to explore as the outcome of this session would be, are our values common or less common? Are they relevant for the society where we are living? What can we do to improve the value development, because we are creating a better world through the system of value-based, And what are the 3 values which we need to emphasize more in the educational programs? So basically, what is missing from the map? So we can actually say, yes, we are creating a person who has all the attitudes and the values ready for the 21st century and its diverse societies and its trends and its culture. Okay, do we all understand the questions? Yeah, they're clear enough? Good. You will have 15 minutes in the bus groups, and we would like to ask one of the bus groups to volunteer to sit within the gray circle. So the gray circle is the circle where our online viewers can actually see us. So it would be good that, because they are also following this, it would be good that one group of people has a microphone in between them and is willing to sit or accommodate themselves here. So you can choose which group is doing that. So we have groups 1, 2, 3, 4. So please be as open-minded as you can. We've tried to challenge you a little bit with some of the definitions and the video. We tried to challenge young people with the survey. They challenged us back with the responses. So now it's time that all of us actually challenge the future of our movement when it comes to the values of Scouting. So ready? Good.
Who is the group who's coming here? Okay, one group will be here, the other one could be there, the other one in the back. We have short time, so please stand up and try to move it. And additionally, yes. Okay, number 3, come over here. Where is number 3? Number 3, you will be famous. Mommy will see you, and your daddy too. Number 3, come over here. Yeah, actually, you need to sit like over here. Okay, so I will pass the microphone, so every time that you talk or discuss, so you need to share. So, yes. Only give it the other one. Hello.
Yeah.
This is another microphone.
Sorry about my English. It's not very okay.
So we cannot communicate. It's okay.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay. What is it? I think now in the society, the values it's now. Okay. Sorry. Can I use it? Okay. I think it's relevant because in the society have a problem about live the values in the school, in the family, and I think the Scouting and the other places or things give the young people that values and that experience and that how do you know that opportunity to reinforce and understand what is the value or the importance of the value, the law. I think it's relevant for that because in so many cultures and schools, I forget the values. I think it's a complement, but in this moment is very important because the society live the values. and it's the spirit. I think I give you for the people.
La la la. Okay. So for one group, we know that they've just created Scouting 2.0. How were your discussions? Have we interrupted you in the middle of... yeah. We are really sorry. This session only lasts 1.5 hours, but you're of course free to think about that further. And you can always, if you come up with something new, you can always either post it on the session website, which is also be recorded by our rapporteur and by us, or you can also talk to us, or you can ask Tarek to put it on the notes. Okay, the idea to go through the process would be that we take one question at a time by each group, so not everybody is sharing their answers to all of the questions. Of course, you are sharing, but not presenting. So we will have one group telling us, giving us intro into their thinking on question number 1, and then everybody from the other groups, if you want to comment or add something, you do that. And also for the question number 2 and for the question number 3. So, which group would like to volunteer with their wonderful thoughts on the question number 1? Which is, to which extent do you think Scout values are relevant for the 21st century? So who has the most heated discussion on this one? Yeah, thank you, Derek. Yeah, they can join. You can start and they can feel free to disagree. It's not, it's right. Thank you.
I think our group felt that the basic Scouting values that are expressed in the promise and law were still right, but that there had been considerable modification in them. For instance, if we take the issue of duty to God, that there is now a much greater reluctance to see duty to God as a very fundamental value, but to a variable extent, we are still asking Scouts to have an individual reflection on their interpretation of a meaning to life. How do they make, as an individual, make sense of the world around them and issues such as beauty and honesty and spirituality and so on. They may not come to a conclusion, but they should be searching. But there was a very variable view as to the extent to which that was appropriate within Scouting now, which is a change. But maybe my group would disagree. That's what came over to me.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah?
During our discussions, we also noticed that certain values that are relevant, but they're ideal, not realistic. And it was, first of all, it was related to that Scout is a thrifty. Because it's an ideal that we should do, but how many of us are thrifty nowadays? Like not spending money, a lot of monies, or even resources, like say recycling that we notice that how many of us doing recycling. It's an ideal what we should do, but in reality, it's a problem, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you. We discussed the issue with, is God relevant in today? And we felt as a collective number 2s that it was belief. It is what the belief is. It made people may realize that the God is what one God believes in, but belief could be a word that maybe encompasses everything. So that was our one for there. And the other one in the law, we had that we think with today's youth and in this day and age that A scout obeys orders of his parents, patrol leader or scoutmaster without question. We're not sure that that's where we would encourage our youth today to accept those things without question, the way society is. And we didn't come up with an answer. We didn't think that was our time to do that. But we thought that would be an interesting question for your people, like at your national youth councils that did those others for you. But that was where the other one that we felt from ours.
Good. Good. Any more?
I think our group have a very healthy dialogue on that issue of without question. And I think it's not a good, healthy, connective development for young people if they simply accept what people want them to accept, people with authority. So we find that that may not be truly relevant for the 21st century. In fact, we want to encourage people to ask questions. But the issue is not what you ask, it's how you ask it. That's fundamental.
Have any other comments on the question number 1? Okay, thank you very much. So basically what I'm hearing is that we have some of the some parts of the wonderful postcard, which is also in our constitution of the World Organization. So some of the parts are still good, but perspective has changed a little bit. Am I interpreting that right? Yeah.
Milena is looking at me because she knows, and some of you may not know, that I was chairman for 7 years of the World Constitutions Committee. The formal position of the promise and law that you've got in on the little card is that is in the World Constitution, but the World Constitution says, I can't remember the exact words, is this is the way that the founder set down the promise and the law. Each National Scout organization must come up with its own promise and law which expresses the fundamental values. So it isn't that you have to have that one or anything even close to that one, but you must have something which expresses the same fundamental values. So the wording, the actual wording, is not set in stone.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's a very relevant point, actually, to have and to share with everybody else. So what you came was that, yes, some of the parts maybe are relevant but are not real, like trust, like thriftiness, or scout being obedient or asking questions. So, okay, what about the answers to the question number 2? How the adults can improve the process of value development in scouting? Okay. Reinventing the adults.
Okay, we had that they have their own values, be able to discuss any issues, be responsible, and trust the young people. That's right, to make decisions. So that would be the values.
Could you repeat that?
Oh, sorry. To be able to discuss all issues, being responsible, and to trust the young people that they can make certain decisions.
Okay. Anybody has anything to add? Yeah. Derek? Yeah.
It's common. I think our group came up with something which to me was very interesting. they said that it was important that adults should still set an example to their scouts in terms of their behaviour in life and the way in which they lived up to the Scout promise and law. But there was a concern that society and the world is moving on so fast that the example which adults may now set is not the example which young people in today's society would see as relevant. In the past, things haven't moved so fast, so the adult example was still valuable for the young people. But nowadays, it's much more difficult because things have moved on so much and so quickly. So adults should be, particularly adults in scouting as leaders, should be careful that the example they set is seen by young people as having a reality in terms of it's this reality-unreality issue again. Again, my group might not agree, but that struck me very forcibly.
Thank you. I think, yeah, it's a very good comment. Anybody else on the adults? Okay, and the third question is, what are the 3 values you think Scouting should embrace more in the future? Shoot. Yes.
Okay, we think maybe it's not another 3 values. Maybe it's time to grow up the values of the law. One example is Scout is friendly to animals, and I think it's an opportunity to talk about the environment, no, and the commitment with the environment, and it's part. The human race is part of the environment, and it's time to come back to the nature, and now think it's a good thing. Take care of the animals. It's a right. It's a right, no, for the animals. And another example is, and you say that, obeys others without question. It's time to say the Scout take responsibility for the things. No obey without questions. It's responsibility, the value in that law. That's right. and maybe the other, the resilience, because it's very important. I have questions here, but maybe my friend can explain better that. But because I think the resilience, it's a one value, but I think it's a consequence for the many values. It's an opportunity for present the courage to make the better in very difficult situations or a sense. But maybe you have another better explain in English. Sorry about my English.
We are group mates, and like what Sir mentioned a while ago, we have had, we believe, some fruitful discussion a while ago. Well, we included resiliency as much as possible, where we would like our boys to be resilient nowadays, considering of our situation. To our context, we mean resiliency for the boys who can adapt as better as they can to the situation. We know that many of our boys may be living in their comfort zone, and sometimes simple things that may get wrong, they tend to crumble already, so they cannot adapt. And with those values that we would like our scouts, or must our scouts expected to have, resiliency, responsibility, and of course, what is the other one? Resiliency, responsibility. We ended up our discussion to include finally the values to enjoy life, because we do believe young boys as they are, we believe that whenever they like what they are doing, they also enjoy life. In fact, it's here in column 2, 19th world. No, it says here happiness. So we would like also to be happy. And please bear with me if I may share. No, our Boy Scouts, you know very well what happened in the Philippines, and the Visayas region were devastated by typhoon. And one of our activities in our Boy Scouts, in fact, we were having our camping at the time after the devastation, when we were already, when the government is already trying to have the recovery. And we had our camping, and our administrators told us that if we can cut short at least half a day of the last day of our camping, instead of the usual other activities in the field, we brought our scouts to repack the food to be brought to the typhoon victims. And we asked our boys, of course we know very well that they want camping. We told them if we can cut short our usual activity, and instead we will repack food. And they were very excited and they were very happy. Of course, the first impression is that simply because they can get out of the routine that we do there, these are kids and they will be doing other things. But when we process it, we made it realize, and they realized too, that in their little way, they were able to help their less fortunate brothers and sisters, especially those who are victims of typhoons. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's also maybe worth noting that one of the online responses we got was also the adaptation as the value, which should be. Any other ideas on what should we develop more or emphasize? Yeah?
We thought vision, because to give the youth vision gives them a direction and something to look towards, and then that would give them reliability. And because giving them the reliability to follow the vision and to offer them commitment. And those three things would lead to the happiness, which my colleague here has just mentioned.
Are you, just a question, are you talking about the personal vision or the vision of the organization?
A vision to be given to them to be used in any way to do with their scouting and in their life. So they have a life vision, and also with scouting. Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Any other responses? Yeah. Yeah. You want to delete teamwork? Yeah.
So, within our group number 4, when we're discussing the three values, we actually didn't have a time for the third one, but the first two was leadership and teamwork. From one side, it seems like a completely opposite things, but we discussed that they can exist not kind of harming each other. You have kind of both teamwork and leadership to develop these two values.
And also supported by the statements from young people we just heard from the survey. So thank you. Okay, we have written this down, and one of the idea would be to take these conclusions as a follow-up of this session. So to put them forward and to try doing something with them. So we might end up with changing some of the values or opening some more discussions for some other people as well. Do you have any final comments or any final remarks?
Okay, so the camera, sorry. So I already gave you like some evaluation about the session. So please, we need to do fulfill that because we really need it for our feedback. And we expect from this session you have learned something, or at least you have been reflecting about the values and how we can make them realistic according to the ideal that we have when we decided to wear our scarf and be part of this big and fantastic and tremendous youth scout movement. So we really hope that you have that reflections, and also keep all the reflections and all the things that you are going to learn in the next 3 days. Take them home. All that experience and all the knowledge and the things that you are going to learn are not belongs to you. Belongs to all the people that are believing in scouting. Just imagine if just Biden Powell decided to do that just for their community, for his community. Like, no, this will be mine. No one will do that. So this scarf is a gift. It's a gift that has been given to us, and we accept it. So we need to try to keep moving forward and try to share it, and try to have more youth in our movement and more adults to support them. Okay? So thank you very much. It was a pleasure for us to be here. And, well, we will see you here later on, and probably in the world. I don't know, maybe in Slovenia in the conference, or maybe in Japan, the world, that's World Scout Jamboree. So thank you very much for being here. Okay?